Hi everyone, it's Tarnished Treasures. So this clip was all the way back at St. Patrick's Day, but I had my Guinness that my husband always gets me with mashed potatoes and cabbage. And then later that week, birthday celebration, we had cod, crab on top, asparagus. It was very nice. So this also was an older clip with the daffodils blooming, but they are still blooming. Tulips are up now, and it is just beautiful. But it's so neat to see how quick everything changes in 2 weeks. It is 70 degrees. It's supposed to be 79, but no bugs and no humidity, so it should be nice. We are going glass blowing though, so it might be extremely hot inside. I have been to the post office and mailed my 2 boxes to Pam. Now I am heading into the thrift store, and I don't have to leave for an hour and a half for glass blowing, so we've got some time. What an amazing spring weekend. So this is the $4 rack. J. Jill, petite large. Look at me, a nice sleep shirt. Talbots. Cachet. Oh, that's cute. Not my style, but definitely cute. Velvet pants like those. Land's End. Those are cute too. Erica. Little $4 pull-on corduroys. Savers is 40% off of clothes, so we will be going there later today too. Cute dress. I did stop at Aldi, and this was really cute, this spring themed tea pack with the illustrations. It's 7:37, so I have had a full day since I last filmed. I picked up 3 things at the thrift store, and it came to $20 total. This gingerbread cottage, it's gingerbread vanilla cinnamon, smells amazing. It was $7. And then I got this top. I had tried it on last weekend, and it's Style & Company. I believe that's Macy's, and I think I got a pair of black pants sometime in the past week or two that I really liked. That was Style & Company. And I had never really heard of it because I don't go to the mall to go to Macy's, but I love the pants, and I really like this top. I have a sweatshirt in these colors, kind of like a French blue, white, and red, and I like it. So I decided to get it in the top. Boat neck, long sleeves that are cuffed, little slit there, very cute. That was $7. And then a really cool slip. Because it's white, it's going to be hard to focus. So this brand is Wild Mint. I don't know if it's old or new, but there were a few slips, and there were 2 by this brand. A nice cotton slip. It has such modern kind of boho details, yet could be older. I don't know. Really just pretty. And there is a little slit on the side. At first I thought it was some of those French nightgowns, and I was like, oh, are you kidding me? But I don't think it's old antique ones, but you know, very pretty and perfect to wear in the summer. And then there's this little bow embroidered on the back. But have you ever heard of that brand? And I paid $6 for that. I'm heading to Trader Joe's, and the weather is nice. It's not as warm as yesterday, but I don't have a jacket on. We've got buds on both lilac trees. Now the one over by the trash cans, I don't think it made it. I don't know what happened last year, but I could kind of tell it wasn't doing as well, and there isn't a single bud on it, which is sad that a whole tree would just be done. Purple, are these called hyacinth? Purple hyacinth, really beautiful. Tulips and peonies just starting to poke up. You know, not too much to look at, but pretty when there's a little pop of color. I made it to 2 thrift stores today. This was the second one. It was Goodwill. I found a brand new Old Navy shirt for my son and a 4th of July Under Armour t-shirt for him. I also found a pair of sandals for myself and then a funny book for him. And then this is the treasures part. This was only 50 cents, and I do like to collect torsos, so I will add that to one or two that I have in my main bedroom. It says it's a salt and pepper shaker, and it does have a hole at the bottom and up top. And I guess this is Venus. Her head is quite small compared to her body, though. This set was $4, and it's in perfect condition. I was drawn to that beautiful image. It says Restaurant Antoine, founded in 1840. Beautiful French, like, cafe stripe. The saucer, which matches, and it is a piece of Syracuse china. So this isn't my normal color scheme that I go with, although this would be, I think, cute for the summer with blue tablecloth or some of my red and white pieces, but I'm probably going to tuck this away and pull it out for a little bit of a 4th of July display. I don't have a huge one, but I think the colors will be perfect. And then I found these beaded flowers. Now they had about 10 more, but they were they were brown and tan, brown and white, not really my colors. So I got the colorful ones. They were $1.95 each, which individually that's a nice price, but then altogether it probably would have been like $20 to $30 because this was just $10. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packages. So that one's a nice little kind of like not iridescent, but kind of like opalescent white with a beautiful blue in the center. Those were colorful, I don't know, kind of like little bluebells or something. Then here, very pretty. And then I picked up the leaves, different colored ones, and I thought they could help like fill in a little display. But that could be nice for June into 4th of July. Here's a little torso perfume bottle. I've got this lady here on black glass, so I thought I would just add that in. I also have a tape measure that is a little torso that I need to find. Maybe I need to bring it over in here. Yes, there's a lot going on over here at the moment. I am going to save these to pull out after Easter. And this was the cabinet. It's always been in here. I had used it in the guest bedroom and now it's back in here in the living room. So I just was starting to put some decor in there for storage. So we'll just put those there with my little 4th of July sculpture. And then that's where the cup and saucer will go, but it's gonna get washed in the dishwasher right now. The first store that I went to was having a sale. Jewelry, maybe shoes and purses were 25% off, and housewares were 75%. And a lot of the items from the trinkets and treasures sale upstairs from the month before were down there. And the last time I stopped in, it was 50% off, now 75%. She did say it was the last day for the sale, but there were a few things still there that had caught my eye upstairs, and I picked them up. I still resisted on some things though. Some things were just cool, but I didn't really need them. As far as clothes go, I did get this top. It's a Talbot's navy striped top. Perfect to put on with jeans for thrifting. This bottle was 75% off. I really hadn't noticed it before. The stopper is cool because it is not solid. It is a little on the lighter side, so that all is air in there. And the bottom does have a 46, and that's what they did, and they'd write the same number on the bottom. And when I see that, I know I've got something old there. Little pink band, little design on there. But I love bottles, and especially ones that are handmade and old. And then this was something that I had noticed at the sale, and I was going to buy it at full price, and I'm glad I didn't because it was still a good price. It was $20, and I got it for $5 today. Victorian jewelry box. I don't know if it's that, I don't know if it's that old. And I don't know if that fabric is original, but it's a really pretty pink purple velvet. Got the roses on there. Cannot tell if it's been painted or not. Like, see that? Is that glass underneath, or is that a different metal? Very curious, but really pretty with those roses. These I had my eye on for a while, and I'm actually going to take the paper off because it looks like it was given as a gift, and that's wrapping paper. And this was another case of 2 price tags. This was marked at $30, and then this said Sheffield stainless and sterling pear $40. So she said, well, that says pear, so I'll do $40 and then 75% off. So each piece was only $5, which I think is a great deal for the sterling handled pieces. Plus, I collect them. And the fact that they're still in these boxes really tells me that these were never used. This bowl kept catching my eye, and it wound up being $7.50, not $30. It feels like it's probably a porcelain, and it's really neat because it's a serving bowl or a cake stand. So I thought that had such a cool look to it, especially if you were serving like a pasta salad at a party or a brunch, but then you flip it over and it looks like a tablecloth draped over a table. And it's so flat and nice. It's just like great craftsmanship. Food, it's not food design because there's only one D, but it's food design. And then it says it's loved in Italy, cake stand and serving bowl, techno. I don't know, just I thought I'd be upset if I left it. So I don't know if I'm keeping it or giving it to a friend at work who has a birthday coming up. She really likes modern, simple things. So most likely it's going to her, but I thought it was really cool. Greek food for dinner, stuffed grape leaves, string beans, potatoes, rice. It was delicious. I had to capture it. It's the last day of March and the tulips are opening, which I think is a tad early. And then look at these beautiful double ones. Well, those are daffodils. I was going to say it's Friday afternoon, I'm home from work, but I looked at the clock and it's actually 6:04. So I've been home for a while. The kids are sick, so I've actually been trying to avoid them a bit so I don't get it. And I got a new piece of furniture, so it was free. That's why I did it. I was, getting everything in order in here, and I had that little marble top table, which I did take from the living room, and it really needed to go back. And when I was driving home Saturday after going to the thrift store, this was 2 blocks up, and it looked very petite. I was actually able to carry it around the block and put it in my car. I like the color of it. It's like the exact same color as my secretary, and my daughter was funny. She said, you just picked up the same piece of furniture. Slanted top and everything. But it's not going to work out. It is taller than what I had. It's more narrow. It fits everything with a little bit of empty space. But I remember from before when I had something like this, that drawers aren't good for craft supplies because you only see the top and you have to pull your containers out to get your things. But I'm not upset that I'm trying this, and it can just be a little placeholder until I find what I want, like some really cool piece. Until then, I'll go with something free. It's got some stenciling and some decals and things like that, but I'm not even going to put the time in to paint over it. It just kind of blends into the wall and it's fine. But it got me thinking, what if I could get rid of enough stuff that I don't need an extra big piece of furniture. So I've been walking around the room trying to find some things, and I'm going to get into those drawers and see what I can pare down. I've been doing that a lot this year, getting rid of more than I've been buying. And I thought maybe I could move this here and then get a little nightstand for next to the table. So something similar where it's a vitrine and then a little nightstand. And in the nightstand, maybe it could have a shelf or a door or a drawer. So it could have a little storage. I wasn't too happy with this. I thought it was going to work out better. So I had to rearrange a few things. But then, you know, that made me like other areas a little bit more. So since this is not as wide, I could not put as much on top, even though I need a spot to put things. So sometimes you just have to stand there and look, and I put my lamp down low again. It was not working up high because the cord was not hidden enough. And every time I looked in that area, I thought it looked so junky. So that already was an improvement. I mean, just imagine a white cord just hanging down like that. So that's freed up some space here, but when I finish that little rhinestone framed piece, it's gonna go behind that. There was a little portrait, and she has a purple dress on, so now she's in the back, and I like the height that that creates. This is still too much, but it needs to go somewhere at the moment. And my little bowl of brushes is now in my other glass cabinet, and I think it looks nice there. I liked it out a lot, but I think it looks also good where I moved it. In this cabinet, I have taken some things out and moved them to other spots. I have taken some things to sell. This is where the container of brushes worked out, and I like it in there. You know, it works in a lot of spots. And arranged a bit, so things are seen. It's not as much. When I am in this room and I look at things, then I start to get ideas, and I was thinking that I would switch the fabric out on the bottom here. It is definitely an olive green. I'm sure it's faded over time. There's these little ring marks. It's probably not the freshest. So I don't want to paint the furniture, and this is like just kind of like a chipboard type thing, so it might not even be original. But I kept it because it came with it, and I like velvet. But the more I look at it, I think if I change this fabric up, it really could bring a little bit more brightness and life over here, or even just lightness. A mirror would be awesome, but this is like a quadrifoil
That's the
shape.
original color, so it has definitely faded. What is the wood underneath? Yes, yeah, so I think that got ripped up, and then somebody created this to cover up whatever damage or, you know, thing was down there. And it looks like veneer.
My other thought is, if I do want to reduce a big piece of furniture and just get a little nightstand, maybe I just put this here and that there, because eventually that's what I'd like to do. The last change before I do the switcheroo with this cabinets, which, trust me, I already know that I'm crazy, is I think I did find, I don't even know if I found anything to get rid of right here, but some of these things were over on the marble table and I didn't have space for them. So they came over here and I put stuff on top, and I will say I like that little rearrange too. I mean, it's a ton. And then I have to find a home for this. And then this came home from school because of the remodel and having to bring things home. So I've been trying to bring home something a day. And I had broken one of these and then broke another, putting it in my car, and I have glued it, and now they're back together. So that's nice. I did a whole little series, and I'm still working on a series of just like Victorian nature inspired pieces that Victorian ladies would have had. So we have a little hair keeper here in the shape of a bird's nest. I have my perfume bottle that I made. I have a little tray, an inkwell, a pin cushion. Well, here goes nothing. It switched and I like it, but I am gonna see if I can get everything out of there and find a home so I don't need something there. But I don't mind it right now. Too much stuff on the top, that'll be changed. And then I could do a little nightstand there, because I would need one. But that nightstand could hold a little bit from there, and the shelves by the door could hold some. So I think this is going to work. And as soon as I pushed that into the corner, it felt brighter, even though it's like 7 o'clock at night and it's dark, because that was, you know, blocking the light. Even though there's glass in it, it definitely, having the taller thing in the corner where the window isn't there, just opened it up a bit. I could turn it, but it would block some of my art. And this table is technically diagonal in the corner, or do people call it like catty corner or kitty corner or something? So I'm liking it. I didn't turn it fully. Maybe I'll do that if I get the nightstand, but I actually think this will work good. I think that's a nice little height there. That'll get hung up. If that goes, I am going to be on the hunt for a small marble-topped bedside table that has a door that swings open that I can put stuff in. And then that would open, if these two things were gone, open it up a bit. Maybe that even scooches down. Okay, it always is worth it to try it out. And that really, I didn't even have to take anything out because I have pads on the bottom, so it slid just fine. So that was about 4 minutes of work. Okay, that's promising. So now to open this up and see what can I get rid of. And then later tonight, browse Facebook Marketplace for a little marble top table. It's getting a little later. I've turned the main light off. I love it with just the little lamps on. So now I'm going to see if I can take everything out of here and find a little home for it. Okay, so the books I will put under the table on the other side of the bed. I found 2 that I'm going to get rid of from there, and I have the space, even if that's not where I ultimately want to have them. It's a fine storage spot for now. The space I have is right here, so I think they'll all fit. Yeah, there's a lot of cords when you live in a 1940s house and only have 2, maybe 3 outlets in the entire room. You've got power strips and long cords. Unfortunately, that one will not lay. And then I thought, well, maybe I could stand it up, and I can't stand it up. So I can't get that there. And that is frustrating when there's just one. That won't work. I have a pink one with a moire fabric cover. I have this pink one. It says My Own Diary. And it's got hand-painted roses. And probably, yep, has like a page or 2, all the lock of hair in there. So I'm just gonna stack them up by size. This one's a neat one. This one I got, it says Log o' Life, dedicated to posterity. I don't believe it's filled in at all, but this I got for $2, I think, at one of the first yard sales I ever went to, probably the first yard sale at, why am I blanking? Trisha's house. And it's got such neat like questions and things to answer. Circumference of ankle, circumference of calf of leg, this body measurements at birth, chest expansion, circumference of neck. Very detailed. This is a bride book. I believe my mom gave this to me. Baby book. This one has all of the Christmas tags. And then there's like a whole nother section and page of them. Locks of hair, money from like Japan, I think. We've got a bubble book. This was, or is, number 1. And I love the inscription. Theodore Scott, somebody. Christmas 1920 from Santa Claus, 125 years ago. And the illustrations, little fairies and pixies. And then Little Mischief bubble book. This is the 10th one. And I have one that's a pie one. That's my favorite illustrations. So I think that I will pass this one along, and I am keeping this one because it says it's from Santa Claus. And I'm keeping the pie one because that's my favorite illustration. So
That's always good. I think I had bought 5 or 6 and I had passed 2 along already. So now a third. You have to do that. When you thrift that much, you do have to reduce sometimes. Another hand-painted one. All of the books are cream and pink and turquoise, so that actually adds a little bit more color. And my favorite colors over here. That cleared out that side. I don't have a spot for those little boxes, so they're just gonna stay in there. So we will go to the next drawer. This drawer is mainly this box. And I have stored that under the bed before with my ribbons. And maybe that's just what I'll do. And then this area can be condensed down into the other drawer. So I can have a whole empty drawer. Empty drawer, condensed drawer. I'm gonna tuck this under my desk because I have the space. It's safe. It's actually not very noticeable. This holds my older ribbons and lace. And this would be something that if I find the shelf system or the bedside table, and if one of them maybe even had like a glass front to it, I would love to display these. The older pieces, but for now they're in the box, they're safe, and you know, I do use them and craft with them. The lace parts, not the ribbon. The ribbon are pretty fragile. I can tuck it back further so it's not that noticeable. And back at it, I gotta tell you, when I walk in here, it just feels lighter. I love it, like not brightness wise, but just lighter. The books that you saw over by my desk, those are the sewing books and like decor books that I pulled out because I want to look at them. Okay, so this is not a very full drawer. It does have pins that I need to put on display. And it does have a little storage crafty thing. This, which I did not have space to display because this has less space to display on top. And a couple like ribbons that wouldn't fit in my one hat box. 2 ribbon rolls actually can go down in there. That's why I have the older ribbons. I think they'll fit. And I could layer these up over, I'm gonna pan here because I have the space. The only thing is, this is pretty rickety. I mean, I'm taking a risk with what I have on it. So this is what I'm working with. A little bit of space in here. Tiniest bit of space in here. Ribbons down here. Loose ribbons here, just a little bit. And there's a flea market tomorrow, so hopefully I will have a haul to share with you. And these are gonna go by my desk. That's where they're gonna go because that's where I would probably reach for them the most now that I'm trying to find new spots for things. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.